Let's model a quick and easy filing cabinet for the Isometric Police Station. Let's go into edit mode and press SZ2 and bring this guy up. We'll scale in the Y just a little bit. And now we'll add some edge loops. Control R, pull it up near the top. Control R, pull it down near the bottom. I want a little bit of a bigger section for the base of the bottom. Control R in the middle and Control B to bevel and split this to make the sides like that. Let's do a Control R in the middle and make a small section for a divider, just like that. Okay, now we're going to put on bevel modifier, and I'm going to go for 0.02. Go back into edit mode, and in face selection number 3, select both of those sections for the drawers. E to extrude, pull them in. Look from the top, number 7 and Z wireframe, and pull this back near the back. Come back into solid view with those still selected. I'm going to press Shift D, pull them out. I'm going to use that in a bit. Press P, separate by selection. We're actually not going to use the bottom, so I can select that one and get rid of it. Alright, and I just want this one nice and far away so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, back here, I'm going to choose angle. Geometry, I'm going to choose arc. And that create a little bit of a curve there. So there's the basic box of this thing. Now we're going to come in here and I'm going to extrude back just a little bit, and I'll make sure my polys are facing the right direction. And then I'm going to take that piece and Shift D and pull it back, and then I'll take both of them. I'll look down from the top, I'll go into wireframe, and I'll pull it back. And imagine if the front one is my front door, this one here, I'm going to pull further back. Grab both of them now again. So that's what we're going to have. I'm going to go into edit mode with both of them selected, Shift S, cursor to selected to bring my 3D cursor there, and go back to the object mode. And I'm going to bring in a cube. S to scale. Let's pull it in. I'm going to select the top and pull it down. I want a little bit of room there for my file folders to stick out. Delete that face. I'm going to delete the front face and the back face. And I've got that. Now I think I'm going to scale it in the X a little bit, so it doesn't come out quite to the sides, but it's there. Alright, so far so good. Let's focus just on that. Come into edit mode. I'm just going to make sure my polys are flipped. Control R here, Control R there. Select both of them, and I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Control B to bevel, and I just want a little area there. And I'm going to hit E and SX, and I'm going to pull and come out a little ways. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to delete those faces. I'll bring everything back and select that, and while I'm looking at it, I'm going to press E and Alt S. I'm going to push and give that just a little bit of thickness like that. I can come back in and delete these faces again. I don't need these faces there. Bring that back. Okay. I'm going to select that and Control L. Modifiers, put the bevel on there. The 3D cursor still in the middle. Shift A, mesh, circle. Do I don't know, 20 vertices, let's say. Scale it down, rotate Y 90. I'm going to push this out so I can make some holes in the side. So I'm going to scale it down, grab it, position it, and scale it again. Say I want it about there. Bring it a little closer. I have to make a face. E to extrude, and I want to make sure I pull it through both sides. I want to make sure that my polys are facing the right direction. See, that one's flipped. Alt N, recalculate outside. And now an array in the Y. Put 0 for X and increase the count. Do something like that. Okay. I'm going to select the main body of the drawer. I'm going to add a Boolean and bring it to the top and turn on fast. With the eyedropper, I'm going to select that. And I'll apply and delete those. I just want to have something in there. Now, I've got something here, so we're going to try weighted normal and auto smooth. And that hasn't fixed it, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to switch this to angle. And I think we've solved the problem. All right. Now I'm going to come in and select an edge. I'm going to use that. Shift D. I'm going to pull it out and up a little bit. P to break it out. And then go back into that edge. And pull it in a little bit. And then make an attachment. I mean, these lockers can be, or the filing cabinets can be kind of complicated, so we're not doing all the parts. I'm going to select both those edges now and E to extrude and come out a little ways. And then E and SZ to curl it under. Now I'm going to take that alone and just have a look at this thing here. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add a solidify to that. And I'll try it up here near the top. I don't need it too thick. I'll put on even thickness. That's probably going to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. I'm going to come in and I'm going to get rid of these edges here, or these faces, sorry. And on the back side as well. Okay, with that done, bring everything back, and I'll take this and I'll bring it in. And as I look at this, I now think that I maybe should have this a little bit wider. So I think I'll look from the top and I'm going to scale this in the X. Let this come out a little bit bigger so it looks like it attaches. Okay, my 3D cursor should still be in the middle, so I'm going to take this attachment thing, set the origin of the 3D cursor, and mirror. So that's what my drawer looks like so far. Let's come to the front now and select that face. Shift D and S to scale to make sort of an area for a label. Scale it the way that you like it and position it where you want it. I'll make it nice and big. Let's P to break it out. Select it and move it out a little bit. I'm going to extrude it back. We'll delete the back face. And I'm going to change this to, Well, we'll change it yet. All right, let's select that front face, and now if I inset it, I just gotta be careful that I don't pinch it. It's probably okay. So I'm gonna SX a little bit more, like that. SZ a little bit more, like that. And I'm going to press E to extrude and pull it in, and then P, break it out right away. So I've got a separate piece there. Now let's come back to this and think about if we want to make that a little bit less crazy. Can shade smooth that. And we can even try to put on our own bevel by selecting those edges in Control B, pull, put in a couple segments, and then select these edges here. Might give a nicer effect. Is round that a little bit. Something like that. Got the paper part in there, and I've got that part in there. Okay. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to select an edge, just like that. Shift D, I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to use that. P to break it out. I've got that. I'm going to pull it out. Press 1 for vertex selection, and extrude in. All right. And then X edges. Get rid of those edges, so I've got just this. Select these points here. Shift Control B, pull, and I'm going to round it. I want 5 vertices in there. And maybe I'll go from a different vantage point so we can see that a bit better and round it a bit more. Like that. Go to Object, Convert to Curve. And down here, choose Geometry and under Bevel. Hold down Shift while you pull and give this thing some thickness. And we can shade smooth, as thick as you want. Look from the front, select it, and I'm going to scale that in the X. Pull it down a little bit. For handle, let's check our orientation. Notice this is flipped. Go in, Alt-N, recalculate outside. Now this is just a single piece, so come in and go Alt-N and flip. So far so good. Let's come back in here and take that piece and use it. Shift D, scale, scale in the X. We're going to make that little button that opens the filing cabinet. I'll break it out, P to break it out. Take that, get the size you like, extrude out like this, extrude out again, and scale. Select the whole thing, pull it out. We're going to remove the back face. And I'm probably going to get rid of the bevel on that and do it myself. So in edge selection, select these edges. And Control B, I don't need 5 segments, 3 is probably enough. Same thing for the top. Slide an edge down here and shade smooth. I'm actually going to scale this in the Y, get it a bit thinner or less tall. Pull that back in, look from the front, and just position it. At this point, I'm going to start putting all of this in a collection. So I'm going to select all these pieces. New collection. I'm going to call that D1 for drawer 1. And then I'm going to move it and make sure I got everything, and I do. And let's see. Let's try sliding it in and just seeing what it looks like. I can easily select it again. Going to turn on the shadow. Okay. All right, let's make some file folders that will go in there. Actually, just before we do that, let's do one more thing. Let's select that and bring a 3D cursor there and bring a circle. We'll just go for 18. Rotate X 90. Come down here somewhere. We'll make like the lock. F to make a face. E to extrude. It's real simple. Delete that back face. Select that one. Bevel. Maybe we'll inset and extrude in. E and S and come out. And maybe bevel one more time. I might put a subdivision surface on that. Make sure I don't have a back face on that. And if I do, I want to get rid of the back face. Oh, I can't tell. I got rid of it. Okay, just make sure that's in D1. It is. Okay. I can leave my 3D cursor there. Make a file folder. Make a plane. Rotate X90. Scale it down. I'm going to look from the front in wireframe. I'm going to scale it a bit smaller. I'm going to select this bottom edge and bring it up to about there. And the top edge, I don't want it quite that high, so I'm going to select this. Now I'll just pull it back and just have a look at this. Okay, it's sticking out, so SX. Let's pull it back and just imagine it in there. And pull the bottom up. You'll never see the bottom, so okay. Let's just focus just on that. I might pull the bottom up a little bit more. Okay, so let's make this. Let's drag an edge loop and drag another edge loop, something like that. Take this piece, E to extrude, pull it up a little bit. Press 1 for vertex selection, grab that point and pull it over. And with that selected, grab all the points that are sort of sharp. Just like that. Not going to see the bottoms, but I'll do them anyhow. And then we'll go Shift Control B and pull. And we don't need too many points. 3 is probably enough. Just round it like that. See? Get that. Okay, you could use Solidify if you want. On there. Just make it really nice and thin. So I'm going to go 0.03. We'll try that. Just make sure that, yeah, okay, that's good. Bring everything back. And I might scale this in the X a little bit smaller. I'll start putting some viewport colors on this. So click there. Come down to viewport display and choose sort of a gray color and switch over to studio, or switch over to object there. Okay, and I will click here, click on hex, and I'm actually going to make this, now that I think about it, 777777. That's what I want. All right, and I'll Control C to copy it, and then we'll come in for everyone and Control V and paste it for all these pieces here. And don't forget the back. Okay. For the file folder, I'm going to make it sort of a orangey color. And for the paper, just a little bit off-white. I'm going to leave these like that. Now, what I'll do is I'll take this file folder, then I'll Shift D. This is duplicated a couple times. I'll Shift D, duplicate it again. Maybe I'll go in and, all right, whatever. Let's just rotate Z 180 and slide it back. Let's duplicate that and pull it back. We can also throw in a piece of paper sticking out. Rotate X 90. Scale it to the size of the paper that you would want. And use solidify or something to give it just a little bit of thickness, 0.002 or something. And for color, let's take this color here. So come in here and Control C, and come in there and Control V. I don't know how much it looks like paper, but Shift D. Put another one in here. It'll move around and make it a bit taller, maybe rotate a bit, something like that. Okay, now all of those should be in there. Okay, good. Obviously, you couldn't close the door very easily, and that's something we need to think about for these file folders. I think I'm going to take everything here and push it down a little bit. As long as this doesn't come on the bottom. Now, a couple more things. I'm going to come into the top here, select these faces and Control plus P to break that out. Take the top, pull it up, and then in edge selection, Shift Alt and click there, E and S, and just come in just a little ways. And then I can pull this back down, and it'll look sort of like there's a separate piece on there. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Select this and those ones with Control plus P to break it out, pull it down, and take these E and S and bring it back up. There. I think that will look a little bit better. Just have to get the position of this the way that you like it. And now that I have drawer 1 there, I can select that, Shift D, pull it down before I lose that. I'm going to go M, New Collection, D2. Look from the front, pull it down until you feel it lines up. I'm going to come in here and get rid of the paper. And then I'll just move these around a little bit to make it look a little bit different. And then I'm going to select D2 again and pull it in like that or something. You do whatever you want at that point. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. It's not going to look realistic. It's not supposed to. It's a cartoony type thing. All right. So I'll use something like that. In my scene, you can stack them on top of each other, put them beside each other, turn them a little bit and stuff like that. All right, quick and easy filing cabinet.